We will now focus on the radio communications sector. The aim of the sector is to ensure rational, equitable, efficient and economical use of the spectrum and the satellite orbits, to carry out studies and adopt recommendations on radio communication matters. The first point relates to using the spectrum. The second point relates to one of the ways by which the sector can support the ITU community to achieve its goal. The ITUR objective can be achieved through holding world and regional radio communication conferences, the production of recommendations, the approval of recommendations, and where technical studies are required, that they are conducted in the various study groups. Something about the ITUR structure. You will see that the director and its Radio Communication Bureau has an organization formed by the Space Services Department, the Terrestrial Services Department, the Study Group Department, and the Informatics Administration and Publication Department, IAP. And they are all influenced in its work by the highest level, the Radio Communication Conference, the Radio Communication Assembly, the Study Groups and Special Committee, the Conference Preparatory Meeting, the Radio Regulations Board, and the Radio Communication Advisory Group. One of the key resources for spectrum management is the National Spectrum Management Handbook, which is an output of the radio communication sector. Originally written in 1995, updated in 2005, and this year, also within Study Group 1, there is a development of a new edition of this handbook. It covers fundamentals of spectrum management, spectrum planning, frequency assignment and licensing, spectrum monitoring and investigation, spectrum engineering practices, spectrum economics, but also automation of spectrum management activities and measurement of spectrum utilization. It contains background, a list of resources, recommended structure for spectrum management, and much more. For you, it's a critical read participating in this course. Something about the functions of the Bureau. It provides administrative and technical support. It applies the provisions of the radio regulations. It records the frequency assignment and maintains the Master International Frequency Register. It provides advice to member states. And it provides technical information, organizing seminars on national frequency management and radio communications issues. But above all, it also works closely with the ITU Telecommunication Development Bureau in assisting the developing countries. Then something about the Radio Communication Advisory Group. Its task is to review the priorities and strategies adopted for the radio sector. It monitors the progress of the work, but also provide guidance of the work for the study groups. And it recommends measures to foster cooperation and coordination with other organizations, but also with other sectors of the ITU. It provides advice on these matters to the director of the BR. The Radio Communication Assemblies may refer specific matters within its competence to the RAC. And therefore also the RAC may be authorized to act on behalf of the Radio Assembly between two assemblies. Then something about the ITUR study groups. It's a group of experts from the ITU membership. It is estimated that more than 4,000 persons from the ITU membership attend the study groups and their subordinate groups on a regular basis. They draft technical basis for the World Radio Conferences, but also for the regional radio conferences. They draft recommendations with text to provide technical information and guidance on radio communication systems, their operation and the associated spectrum issues, but also compile handbooks. The Radio Communication Assembly agrees to the program of the work within the study groups, and then the study groups itself. Currently we have 6 study groups. Study Group 1, Spectrum Management, Study Group 3, Radio Wave Propagation, Study Group 4, Fixed Satellite Service, 5 on Terrestrial Service, 6 on Broadcasting Service, and 7 on the Science Service. Every study group has some subordinate groups, like working parties, task groups, rapporteur groups, and joint groups. There is also the Coordination Committee for the Vocabulary. They coordinate issues dealing with technical terms and vocabulary arising in all of the sector technical texts. There we have the Special Committee, and it addresses regulatory and procedural matters. And we have the CPM, the Conference Preparatory Meeting, which takes the material from the study groups and prepares the technical basis for the forthcoming WRC. Something on the scope of Study Group 1 on spectrum management. It deals with fundamental aspects and principles of spectrum management. They also study specific questions of inter-service sharing that may arise, and it provides in principles and techniques for spectrum management, sharing criteria and methods, spectrum monitoring, and long-term strategies for spectrum utilization and inter-service sharing and compatibility. Study Group 3 on radio wave propagation. It's dealing with propagation of radio waves on ionized and non-ionized media and the characteristics of radio noise for the purpose of improving radio communication systems. An important aspect is also the development of propagation prediction models for the various radio communication services. Then we have the scope of Study Group 4, the fixed satellite service. Systems and networks for the fixed satellite service and inter-satellite linking associated command functions. Something on Study Group 5, terrestrial. They do systems on network for fixed mobile radio termination amateur and amateur satellite services. The scope of Study Group 6 on broadcasting. Radio communication broadcasting terrestrial and satellite, or vision, sound, multimedia and data services primarily extended for delivery to the general public. And last but not least, we have the scope of Study Group 7, science services. They do systems for space operation, space research, Earth exploration, and on meteorology. They deal with radio astronomy and standard frequencies and time signals. So that was about week number 1 for you to handle, to discuss, and to study. So the work to be done by you this week, that the references for study material are shown in the various presentations which you have received. During the week, to participate in the forum discussion and the chat session, and at the end of the week to respond to the questions you will receive. I wish you a lot of success during this week. Thank you very much.